People deluded. Now, Arsenal have just beaten Tottenham Hotspur 4 goals to 2. Terrific game for the neutrals, not so much for an Arsenal or Spurs fan. When I watch the game again, I'm going to probably have some different opinions. But in regards to now, first time round seeing it, we might as well review the players' performances and have the player ratings. Now, if you give me 1 sec, people, I'll find my player ratings. Here we go. Now, it's a weird game, people. It's a weird game. It's a weird one for me. That ain't it. Where the hell is it? Yeah, there it is. Like I said, people, it's a weird game because first 20 minutes we're all over them. Probably the last 20, probably the second 20, 25, it was probably Spurs'. Second half, we did first 10, 15. We didn't start well, Spurs did, and then we patterned it. So it was a game of periods, a game where every 15 minutes, more or less, was a different sort of context. I felt on the whole we played better than Spurs, and probably obviously we've won and things like that. If it ended 2-2, I actually feel, in fact, would I feel right with that? If it ended 2-2, I don't know, man, because on one hand I feel if it ended 2-2, I'd think I'd be happier as an Arsenal fan, or not happy in the sense I felt we could have won. We should have taken 4 points, but happier in the sense that more happy with our performance. And then you look at Spurs, considering the first 20 minutes essentially, and the cheap goals they conceded, and the silly goal they conceded too. But on the other hand, I think a lot of things go against Spurs, so I'm not really sure, to be fair with you, what to make of it. But yeah, man, we can only deal with the facts. We've won. Spurs had a good carrot on top of wanting to be the ones to end our unbeaten run. They've been on a good. The last 2 games against Inter Milan and Chelsea are 2 big games, and they did their thing in that regard. So I give them credit. So in regards to the player ratings, I'm gonna give Leno a 5. I give Leno a 5. I feel that's respectable. I'll give him credit. He made some big saves for us when the times were there, especially in the first half. Should have done better for the goal. I'm not going to hold the penalty against him. What can he do? And it weren't just him who should have done better for the free kick that led to the, who was it? Dyer eventually putting it in. But he really should have done better for that. And I felt his kicking was good, but by the same logic, his kicking could have been much better for me in stages. But 5 is a respectable one. Mustafi gets a 5 as well, because I feel there was many things Mustafi did right, but there was many things that filled me with nerves, especially when he's throwing his handbags out and probably giving away too many silly fouls and stuff like that. Just doing things you don't necessarily need to be doing, innit? So he gets a 5. In fact, all 3 defenders get a 5. I give a 5 because I'm not going to sit here and say they played terrible, because I don't believe any one of them did. I just feel there was things they could have done better, especially if we didn't end up winning the game. For instance, we've seen Socrates many times now. He does like to get tight, and I like him. He's an aggressive centre-half. But at times, you're going to give away silly fouls in key areas, like you saw when Eriksen delivered the ball that led to Dyer converting. Socrates has to hold his hands up. Holding conceded a penalty. Now, it's not a penalty, and if he actually made the tackle, everyone was saying, what a wonderful tackle, next Tony Adams, etc. But on the other hand, the fact is, he didn't. Other fact is, playing devil's advocate, did you necessarily need to go to ground? Could Leno probably done a bit better in terms of communicating? Probably. But did he necessarily need to go to ground? There's without a doubt, no. You only go to ground unless you necessarily have to. And in the moment, he probably deemed he needed to, but looking at it again, and immediately I need to look at it. But the first incident was Son, while it's a dangerous position, is he necessarily going anywhere? And I'm not too sure you could say that was the case. So yeah, all 3 centre-halves in Mustafi, Socrates and Rob Holding get a 5. Kohler gets an 8. Give him a bit of leeway, because defensively I felt he was a bit... We did want a bit more today from defensive periods, and at times he was in old habits, getting caught high up the field unnecessarily. But I felt offensively one of the best players on the pitch today. Both fullbacks were very good. Kohler from start to finish doing dirt down that left-hand side, Spurs' right. Aurier on toast. On another day, he gets another assist. And from an offensive point of view, like Bournemouth, he was solid there. The only issue, again, is the longer this goes on, is that I like Kohler. I really like Kohler. I think whether it's first or second choice, probably for me at this moment in time, admittedly, second choice. He's got something to play for in this side. He's got something to offer. The only issue is, and he did make good tackles, but the only issue is, when you say, I know modern day fullbacks are about going forward, but when you say Kohler's best games. You can't really think of one from a defensive point of view, can you, people? You can't really. You can think of, obviously, today, you can think of Bournemouth, and there's been a couple others that I can't really think to mind. But even if we was to go back and look, they'd probably all, or his highlights would probably be from an offensive opposition. There's not no excellent covering and tackle sort of thing, extended highlight sort of thing of that, is there, people? But today, Kohler was a bad boy for me, so he gets an 8. Bellerin gets a 9. I'm so tempted to even give him a 10, to be fair with you. In fact, I'm going to be fair, man. I'm going to be generous to Bellerin. I'll give Bellerin a 10. I feel the only bad thing I really saw Bellerin do today is in the second half, there was one, I don't know what he tried to do. I think he tried to switch play, but it was an under-hit pass and it fell to a Spurs lad. And on another day, they probably scored that. But other than that, offensively, defensively, I think he was pretty good. Normally, his first touch when receiving the ball at times, it does harm him and leaves him unable to go anywhere. I feel his first touch was on point, showed a willingness to take on midfielders, showed a willingness to link up, played a couple good balls into the box. I felt he had a good game on the large part of things. So I'm going to be generous. It was going to be a 9, but I'm going to give Bellerin a 10. I feel Xhaka was alright today, so he gets a 6. Not going to go OTT, but I think he was good today when the chances were presented to him to do what he needs to do. Mkhitaryan, he gets a 4 from me. I felt he probably would have got a 5. I felt the pressing was good and stuff, but he faded after the first 10, literally first 10, 20. Iwobi gets a 4.5. I feel Iwobi did well. He got in good positions, but again, like Mkhitaryan, excluding that and probably pressing, needed a bit more. And Iwobi got into some good goal-scoring opportunities, and he's been improving in terms of keeping a calm head, but should have probably scored a couple of them. And that 2-1, 2-2, in fact, that 2-1s to Spurs, you're probably thinking this is the difference against a top 6 side. You have to take chances. No disrespect to Bournemouth and sides like that, but you probably get a lot of chances. These certain things always happen in games like this. So a 4.5, to be fair. Torreira gets a 10. It's nice to see him finally score. Tackles, commitment, covering ground, link-up play. It's all there. We know what Torreira's about, and it's nice to see to have someone that's so quality. And you know, he's a world-class midfielder. I'm going to say he's barely done it for in the Prem at top level for a while, but you can see a world-class player, and he's not going to be here long, in my opinion. He's destined for Barcelona, PSG, Madrid, Munich, possibly just the elite clubs, man. Like Torreira, 10 out of 10. Aubameyang, 10 out of 10. I said I needed to see him score today. I needed to see a good performance, not because he's been playing poor, but when you look at his record or stuff, for all the goals he scored for Arsenal, for being up there in the goal scoring charts, he hasn't really done it against the top 6 or done the business. Was alright against Liverpool, but you get the point. So to walk away with 2 goals, 1 assist, I felt while his general play is a bit lacking, he did alright in that incident. His movement was very good. He put in a shift defensively. He obviously got 2 goals and he got 1 assist, so he did his thing. So yeah, that's the first 11 players, I believe. Guendouzi weren't on the pitch long enough to realistically rate, but I think he did alright in the chances presented to him. Ramsey gets a 9, involved in 2 of the goals, all action display, constantly tried to be a nuisance, did what some of these midfielders that started didn't do, and I felt Ramsey, in the 45 minutes he gets a 9, Lacazette gets a 9 as well. He got his goal, he done the passion merchant thing with the fans. I felt the movement and the area he took up, I felt he ultimately changed the game. Both of them changed the game for us, essentially, in an offensive sense. So that would be my player ratings. So it's a good look, man. It's a good start. We've had a decent November. We're now in December. This is the period we need to come out and still be in January, early January, end of January, early February, still in amongst the pack in regards to the top 4, because we need to be able to put ourselves in a chance mid-May. But yeah, people, what can I say? As a team, I'd give us an 8 out of 10 performance. 2 marks down for the goals we conceded, and probably a couple other incidences we could have been better. But it is what it is. People, thank you very much. Arsenal 4, Spurs 2, Tottenham Hotspur 2. That's my player ratings. Thank you for rocking. Deluded.